Hi everyone. Welcome to Speak English Easily 24/7. Make sure you subscribe so you can get simple English tips every day. Hello, my dear students. I'm so happy you're here. Today, we are going to talk about something that quietly controls the lives of many people, maybe even yours. And the surprising part is, most people don't even notice it. I'm talking about overthinking. Overthinking doesn't shout like anger. It doesn't cry like sadness, but it slowly destroys you from the inside. It hides behind a smile and pretends it's helping you. It makes you feel like it's protecting you, but in reality, it traps you. Most people think they are just being careful or thinking things through, but deep inside, they are stuck. Their minds go around and around in a circle of what-ifs and imaginary problems. In today's world, this circle has become even louder. You wake up, check your phone, and suddenly there are hundreds of things asking for your attention. You start thinking about something your friend said yesterday. Then, without even realizing it, you begin comparing yourself to someone online. And that's when your mind starts spinning. What if I fail? What if they don't like me? What if I said the wrong thing? What if I miss my chance? Before you know it, you haven't done anything real. You haven't moved forward, but your brain feels exhausted as if you ran a marathon. That's the heavy weight of overthinking. It drains your energy, steals your confidence, ruins your sleep, and makes you question your own worth. The worst part is that it stops you from living the life you really want. You want to speak English better? You overthink. You want to start a YouTube channel? You overthink. You want to send a message to someone from your heart? You overthink. And while your mind is searching for the perfect moment, the moment quietly disappears. Overthinking is like a thief. It doesn't break doors or make noise. It walks in quietly and steals your future. But why do we do it? Why do we let it take control? Because we want to feel safe. We believe that if we just think a little more, we will find the perfect answer. We hope that overthinking will protect us from mistakes or embarrassment. The truth is, it doesn't. Overthinking keeps you stuck. It makes small problems feel huge. It stops you from taking action. It turns simple choices into mountains. And all this time, life keeps moving forward without waiting for you. But here's the good news. You can fight it. You can notice when your mind is spinning too much. You can remind yourself that perfection is an illusion. You can take small steps, even if they are not perfect. Every little action you take is more valuable than hours of overthinking. Remember, the perfect moment is never waiting. Life doesn't pause for you to figure everything out. So start small. Start today. Speak that word in English. Send that message. Try that new thing. Even if it's imperfect, it moves you forward. Overthinking can't steal what you are willing to do. So my students, let's stop letting overthinking control our lives. Let's take action, learn from mistakes, and keep moving. That is how we grow, and that is how we live fully. Life isn't built on perfect answers. It's built on bold decisions. And today, my students, I'm not just going to talk about stopping overthinking. I'm going to show you how to take back your power in English, in your mindset, and in your life. This lesson is different. It's not about grammar rules or new words. It's about freeing your mind so your words can finally flow. It's about moving forward, not just speaking English fluently, but living confidently and powerfully. Here's the most important truth. Your mind lies. Not because it wants to hurt you, but because it is trying to protect you the wrong way. Your brain is not designed to make you happy. It is designed to keep you alive. It is always preparing for danger, even when there is none. So, you might think, they didn't reply to my message. Maybe they hate me. Or, he looked at me strangely. Maybe I said something wrong. Or, I failed once. Maybe I'll fail again. I feel bad. Something bad must be coming. All of this is just noise. It is not truth. It is fear. The reality is, you don't know what others are thinking. You don't know the future. You don't know how things will end. But your mind acts like it knows. It creates false stories and punishes you with them. The first step to stopping overthinking is simple. Don't believe every thought. Not every thought is a fact. Not every feeling is the truth. Your brain might lie to you, but you don't have to follow it. Once you see this, you take back your power. Let me tell you a story. Harry Houdini was the world's most famous escape artist. He could get out of any prison, any handcuffs, any chains. One day, he went to a small town and told the police, "Lock me in your strongest jail. I will escape in 30 minutes." The police locked him in. Houdini smiled. He had done this hundreds of times before. Hidden in his belt was a small tool. He began working on the lock. He focused calmly, ignoring all fear. Step by step, he worked, until finally the lock clicked open. Houdini walked out free. What made Houdini special wasn't just skill. It was his focus and belief. He didn't let fear or doubt stop him. He didn't let the lock or the jail decide his limits. He acted. He trusted his preparation and his effort, not the scary thoughts in his head. And that is exactly what you can do with overthinking. Your mind will create stories to scare you, but you don't have to believe them. You can take small steps, act despite fear, and trust yourself. Each action is like Houdini unlocking a new door. Step by step, you escape the chains of overthinking. Remember, the brain wants safety, not happiness. But life rewards bold actions, not endless thinking. Stop trusting every scary thought. Step forward anyway. Speak that word in English. Send that message. Try that new thing. Each time you act, you prove to yourself that your mind was lying, and you take back your freedom. Your thoughts don't control you, you do. Be bold. Take action. And slowly, overthinking loses its power. You will speak more confidently, act more freely, and live more fully. Houdini twisted, turned, pushed, pulled left, right, up, down, but the lock wouldn't open. 30 minutes passed, then an hour. He was tired, sweating, frustrated. Finally, he gave up and leaned against the door, and it opened. The door was never locked. It was just closed, but Houdini believed it was locked, so he acted as if it was. This is exactly what overthinking does to us. Your mind whispers, "I can't do it. I'll fail. They don't like me. I'm not good enough." And what do? You stop. You don't try. You don't move. You don't speak. You feel stuck. But just like Houdini, you're trapped by a lie. The door isn't locked. You aren't stuck. You aren't weak. It's just your mind telling a false story. Your thoughts are not always true. Don't let a lie control your life. Push the door. Break the thought. Your freedom is waiting. Overthinking doesn't explode suddenly like a bomb. It starts quietly, like a whisper. A small thought enters your mind, and you ignore it. Then it comes again, then again, and slowly it grows. It grows arms, legs, a voice, and before you know it, it's shouting inside your head, and you feel helpless. The only way to stop this is to catch it early. The moment you realize, "I'm overthinking," say to yourself, "This is not helping me. I'm not solving anything. I'm stuck. I need to stop now." That simple sentence is like a sword. It cuts through the noise. It stops the spiral before it becomes stronger. Think about it. You send a message to someone and they don't reply. Thought 1, maybe they're busy. Thought 2, maybe they're ignoring me. Thought 3, maybe they're upset. Thought 4, what did I do wrong? Thought 5, why does this always happen to me? By thought 6, you feel anxious, guilty, and hurt. And the truth? They were just asleep. That's it. But your brain wrote a full drama. This is why catching the first thought is so important. Interrupt the spiral before it begins. The sooner you stop overthinking, the easier it is to act, to speak, to move forward. Every time you let a small thought grow, you give it power. Every time you stop it early, you take your power back. Overthinking tricks you into believing that you are trapped, weak, or not ready. But in reality, you can push the door. You can act. You can speak. You can try. Just like Houdini, your lock only exists because you believed it did. Once you see the truth, nothing can hold you back. So, my students, remember, notice the whisper, stop it early, and act. Don't let false stories in your mind control your life. Push the door, Step forward and claim the freedom that is waiting for you. Overthinking loses its power the moment you refuse to follow it. Have you ever seen a cup overflow? You keep pouring water, and at some point, it spills everywhere. That's exactly what your brain does when you don't release your thoughts. They pile up, one after another, until there's no space left. Suddenly, you feel heavy, stressed, and overwhelmed, but you might not even know why. Here's the solution. Write your thoughts down. Take a pen, take a notebook, and write exactly what you're thinking. Don't worry about grammar, spelling, or perfection. You don't need anyone else to read it. Write for yourself. Let your brain breathe. Thoughts are loud inside your head, but they become quiet on paper. Write what you're thinking, why it matters to you, what you're afraid of, and what outcome you hope for. Once it's out, something amazing happens. You feel lighter. You feel clearer. You stop being a prisoner of your own noise. This is more than just journaling. This is a mental detox. This is survival. If you don't express your thoughts, they will express themselves as stress, anxiety, or even physical sickness. So let them out. Your peace is hiding beneath all that noise. Most overthinking starts with 2 words. What if? What if I fail? What if they leave me? What if I embarrass myself? What if I never succeed? What if everything goes wrong? Here's the problem. When you overthink with what if, you're living in a future that doesn't exist. You feel pain from something that hasn't happened. You feel rejection from a conversation that hasn't even taken place. You feel anxiety about a future you made up in your imagination. What if is dangerous because it creates full-blown movies in your mind and makes you feel like they are real. Let me give you an example. Imagine a student who wants to speak in English for the first time in front of a group. Immediately, his mind starts screaming, what if they laugh? What if I forget a word? What if my accent sounds bad? What if they think I'm stupid? His heart races. His hands sweat. He wants to run away. But all of these fears exist only in his imagination. The moment hasn't even happened yet. He is reacting to a story his mind created, not to reality. The truth is, none of those what-ifs are guaranteed. The audience may smile, may listen carefully, may even applaud. But the mind only sees danger, not possibility. That's why you need to catch these thoughts early. Don't let them pile up and overflow. Write them down, name them, and see them for what they are, just thoughts, not facts. When you do this, you start taking control. You stop being trapped in imagined futures. You start living in the present. And step by step, you feel lighter, clearer, and stronger. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment exists when you take action despite the what-ifs. So remember, what if is not reality. Your mind makes movies, but you are the director. Write it down. Release it. Act anyway. That is how overthinking loses its power and freedom begins. Imagine a student who wants to speak English for the first time in front of a group. His mind screams, what if they laugh? What if I forget a word? What if my accent is bad? What if they think I'm stupid? Now stop and think, what actually happened? Nothing. He hasn't even opened his mouth. But in his head, he has already failed 10 times, maybe more. So he stays silent again. His confidence fades, and over time, so does his dream. That's the power of what if. Here's the truth. What if is not your friend. It is not your future. It is not reality. What if is fear disguised as a question. It doesn't exist. Don't let it control the life that's waiting for you to begin. The first step is to say the thought out loud. Overthinking is strong because it hides in your head. It whispers, repeats, and plays like background music on loop. But here's a powerful trick that can destroy its power. Speak it. Literally say it. For example, I think my boss hates me. I feel like I will fail this test. I think no one loves me. Now stop and listen. When you say the thought, it begins to sound small, weak, even silly. Why? Because your brain is emotional, but your voice is logical. Saying it moves the thought from the emotional brain to the logical brain. Suddenly, it is something you can understand, manage, and control. For example, you might think, What if they reject my job application? Say it out loud. I think I will be rejected. Then ask yourself, okay, and what happens if that's true? You answer, I'll feel bad, but I can try again. The fear becomes smaller. The storm calms. Speaking the thought turns it into a problem you can handle, not a monster you can't escape. So, next time your mind is stuck in a loop, try this. Speak the thought. Listen to how it sounds. Ask yourself, is this really worth all this fear? Most of the time, the answer will be no. The thought is never as scary as the silence that surrounds it. Another big reason people overthink is perfectionism. They want to say the perfect thing, look perfect, make the perfect impression. And when perfection is the goal, every small choice becomes terrifying. Every word, every action feels like it could ruin everything. But life isn't built on perfection, it's built on action. You don't need to say the perfect word or make the perfect impression. You need to act, even if it's messy. You need to speak, even if it's not flawless. Every imperfect step is better than staying frozen, trapped in fear. Remember, overthinking feeds on silence, on hidden thoughts, on imagined what-ifs. Speak them. Write them down. Catch them early. And don't chase perfection, chase progress. Step by step, thought by thought, you take your mind back. You take your life back. Freedom begins the moment you act despite the fear. Perfectionism is one of the biggest reasons people overthink. They want the perfect decision, the perfect plan, and the perfect result. But the truth is, nothing ever feels good enough. The pressure to be perfect becomes heavier than the fear of failing. For example, imagine a girl who wants to start her own YouTube channel. She has ideas, passion, and a story to share. But then her mind says, what if my background isn't good enough? What if my English isn't perfect? What if people don't like my voice? What if I make a mistake? So she waits. One day becomes a month becomes a year, and her dream slowly dies. Why? Because she was waiting to be flawless. Here's the truth. Perfection is just fear in a beautiful disguise. People don't connect with perfect. They connect with real words, real stories, real effort, and real growth. Nobody became great by being perfect. They became great by starting. So kill perfection. Choose progress. Done is always better than perfect. The world doesn't need your perfect version. It needs you, your action, your story, your effort. Another key point, move your body immediately. Most people think the way to solve a thought is to sit with it and analyze it endlessly. But thinking harder doesn't bring answers, it brings exhaustion. Overthinking isn't a sign of intelligence. It's a sign of mental traffic. Too much traffic and you get stuck. Your body and brain are connected. How you sit, stand, and move affects how you feel. When you overthink, your body freezes. Muscles tighten. Breathing becomes shallow. Your face tenses. Your body enters survival mode, joining your fearful mind. Suddenly, you're trapped both in your head and your body. The fastest way to escape overthinking is to move your body. Not because exercise alone solves everything, but because movement shifts your mind out of survival mode. Walk, stretch, run, dance, anything that releases tension and brings energy back. The more your body moves, the more your mind can think clearly. Think about it. When you start acting, even imperfectly, and move your body, you break the cycle of overthinking. Thoughts lose their power. Fear becomes smaller. Energy returns. Confidence grows. Action and movement together are like turning on a light in a dark room. You can finally see a path forward. So don't wait. Don't chase perfection. Move. Speak. Write. Act. Start. Every small step builds momentum. Every small action frees your mind from imagined futures, from what-ifs, from fear. Progress, not perfection, is the secret to escaping overthinking. Your thoughts are loud, but you have power over them. Write them, speak them, act on them, and move your body. This is how you take control, step by step. Freedom isn't in waiting for the perfect moment, it's in starting now. Movement is one of the fastest ways to stop overthinking. It's not just about burning calories, it's about interrupting emotions with action. When your body moves, your brain stops spinning in circles. Motion pulls you out of your head and back into the present. Here's how it works. Stand up and walk around your room. Go outside and feel the air. Do jumping jacks. Stretch your arms and legs. Wash your face. Jump up and down for 10 seconds. These small, simple actions seem minor, but they are life-changing. Movement shifts your focus, deepens your breathing, and reconnects you with the moment. Imagine someone sitting on their bed, worried for hours. Why didn't they call? What if I ruined everything? What if this pain never ends? Now, imagine they stand up, put on music, and start organizing their desk. 5 minutes later, they might not be smiling yet, but they are no longer drowning. The mental storm has slowed. That's the power of movement. Overthinking loves confusion. It feeds on indecision. It whispers, "You're not ready. You need more time. Let's think a little more." But here's the truth. You don't need more thinking. You need movement. You need momentum. Your brain can imagine hundreds of problems, but it can only solve one when you act. Let's take English learning as an example. You want to speak in front of others, but your mind screams, "What if I say the wrong word? What if they laugh? What if I freeze?" You plan, prepare, overthink, and do nothing. Days pass, weeks pass, and your confidence stays frozen. Here's what works instead. Forget perfection. Forget approval. Forget imagining the future. Just take one tiny step. Speak one sentence out loud. Record a voice note on your phone. Write a single line in your journal. One small action is more powerful than 1,000 perfect thoughts because it trains your brain. It teaches your mind, I can act. I can try. I can move forward. Action builds confidence. It interrupts fear. It changes energy. The longer you sit and think, the stronger the overthinking becomes. The longer you wait for the perfect moment, the more frozen your mind feels. But the moment you move, you take back control. Every time you feel stuck, stand up. Do something, anything, to break the cycle. Sweep the floor, stretch, jump, take a walk, speak a sentence, write a word. One small action leads to another. Momentum grows. The storm in your mind calms. Fear shrinks. Confidence rises. Overthinking loses power when you act. Motion beats worry. Doing beats thinking alone. Start with tiny steps. Speak, move, write, act. You are not here to be stuck in fear. You are here to move forward, one small action at a time. And every time you do, you prove to yourself that nothing, no thought, no fear, no what if can hold you back. Fear grows the longer you wait. The more you sit and think, the bigger it feels. But action, any small action, makes fear shrink. The moment you move, even just a little, the grip of fear loosens. Let's take an example. You want to apply for a job, but your mind is spinning. What should I write in the email? Is my resume perfect? What if I make a mistake? Instead of overthinking, open your laptop and write the first line. Save it. Don't worry about finishing it today. Tomorrow, write the second line. That's how you beat overthinking, one small step at a time. You don't need to finish the whole race today. You just need to start. Decision-making is the same. Many people think waiting brings clarity. They wait for the perfect moment, a sign, or some inner certainty. But waiting often brings more confusion, not less. You start with one question. Should I message them or not? An hour passes. Then 3 hours. You've written and deleted drafts 5 times. Your heart races. Your mind feels heavier. This is the poison of delayed decisions. The brain hates uncertainty. It keeps analyzing, questioning, circling. But clarity doesn't come from thinking longer. Clarity comes from acting faster and adjusting later. Waiting doesn't solve the problem. It traps you in your thoughts. Here's the solution. Set a time limit. Give yourself 10 minutes to decide, then move forward. Not because you are careless, but because you value peace. Let's say you're overthinking whether to say yes to a new opportunity. Ask yourself, what do I want? What's the worst that can happen? Will this move me forward? Then make the choice. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Peace doesn't come from perfect decisions. Peace comes from chosen decisions. Even a 70% choice brings more calm than a 100% overthought delay. You can always adjust later. What matters is breaking free from the fire of overthinking. Stop waiting for fear to disappear. Instead, focus on what you can control and release what you cannot. Overthinking feeds on indecision. It grows when you delay, hesitate, and imagine worst-case scenarios. The more you wait, the louder it becomes. But the moment you act, even a little, you reclaim your power. A small step leads to another, and soon the storm in your mind slows down. Remember, clarity is born from action, not delay. Movement, decision, and small steps are your weapons against overthinking. Speak, write, move, choose. Each tiny action weakens fear, calms the mind, and brings confidence. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to act. Start now. One step, one line, one decision. Momentum will follow. Fear will fade. And the life you want, the life you're meant to live, will start unfolding, not tomorrow, not later, but today. Overthinking often comes from trying to control the future. You want to control people, control outcomes, control everything. But here's the truth. You cannot control what others think, who stays or leaves, the past, or what will happen next month. So why suffer over what you cannot control? Instead, focus your energy on what you can control. Your actions, your response, your habits, your focus, your breath. That is where your real power lies. Imagine this. You send a message to someone and they don't reply. Your mind starts racing. Why didn't they answer? Are they angry? Should I apologize? Should I send another message? But can you control their mood? Can you read their mind? No. So instead, you breathe. You take a walk. You move on with your day. You work, clean, or learn something new. Your power is in the present, not in their inbox. Here's a simple rule. If it's outside your control, it's outside your stress. Let go of what you cannot change and focus on building peace inside yourself. That is strength, not weakness. Peace doesn't come from fixing everything. It comes from focusing on what matters and letting go of the rest. Another big cause of overthinking is caring too much about what others think. You worry, did I say something wrong? Do they think I'm weird? Did I look stupid in that video? Why didn't they invite me? Maybe they don't like me anymore. This pain feels real and heavy because every human wants to feel accepted, liked, respected, loved, and understood. But here's the truth that brings freedom. Not everyone will like you, and that's okay. Even the kindest, most talented, most beautiful people have people who dislike them. You are not here to please everyone. The more you try to be liked by all, the more you lose yourself. You become a stranger to your own values, your own dreams, and your own happiness. Overthinking also grows from fear of judgment. You imagine scenarios that haven't happened yet, worrying about what people might think. You replay conversations, analyze reactions, and imagine rejection. This mental spiral traps you in fear, not reality. But here's a secret: most of these thoughts are lies. They're your mind trying to protect you, but in the wrong way. The antidote is simple. Focus on what you control, accept what you cannot, and act from your present. You can control your words, your efforts, your kindness, your growth. You cannot control the world, and that's fine. Accepting this truth doesn't make you weak, it makes you free. When you focus on yourself and your actions, fear loses power. When you let go of others' opinions, your mind clears. When you act, even in small steps, you regain momentum. Overthinking begins when we obsess over what we cannot control. Overthinking ends when we act on what we can control. Remember, not everyone will like you, and that's okay. You don't need everyone's approval to move forward. Your peace, your growth, and your happiness are in your hands, not in someone else's mind. Focus on your actions, let go of judgment, and reclaim your life one choice at a time. When you care too much about what others think, you start hiding your true self. You change your personality, shrink your dreams, and say yes when you really want to say no. The result? You feel exhausted, fake, and unseen. You feel like no one really loves or accepts the real you. Overthinking takes over because every word, action, and decision feels dangerous. But here's the good news. When you accept that some people will misunderstand you, dislike you, or reject you, something amazing happens. You become free. You speak with courage. You walk with confidence. You breathe easier because you stop trying to be someone you're not. Remember this. You don't need everyone to like you. You only need to like yourself. You weren't born to impress others. You were born to express yourself. Stop replaying moments in your head. Stop explaining your every action. Stop worrying about whether others approve. Instead, ask yourself one better question. Do I like who I am becoming? That question will guide you to peace. Another trap that steals your peace is perfection. Many people say, I can't start until it's perfect. I can't speak English until my grammar is flawless. I can't upload my video until it looks professional. I can't apply because my resume isn't perfect. And what happens? They wait. They wait, and in that waiting, time, opportunities, and confidence are lost. Their dreams fade not because they failed, but because they never began. Perfection is not your goal. Perfection is a prison. It tells you you're never ready, you're not good enough, you'll embarrass yourself. But here's what most people don't realize. Progress, not perfection, builds greatness. Every confident speaker once stumbled. Every successful creator made terrible first videos. Every skilled writer wrote imperfect pages. But they kept going. They kept learning. They chose action over anxiety. The truth is simple. Done is better than perfect. Action beats overthinking. Small progress beats endless waiting. One small step forward is more valuable than 100 perfect thoughts. Speak one sentence, write one line, take one action, and momentum begins. The fear that once paralyzed you starts shrinking. Confidence grows with each small step. When you accept yourself, let go of perfection, and take action, overthinking loses its power. You stop being trapped by fear and approval. You stop trying to control the uncontrollable. You stop living in what others think. You start living in reality, in the present, in your own power. So, remember these truths. Not everyone will like you, and that's okay. You don't need everyone's approval to move forward. Perfection will never come, so stop waiting for it. Progress, action, and small steps are your path to freedom. The person you are becoming matters more than what anyone else thinks. The choices you make now, even if imperfect, shape your life. You don't need permission to start. You don't need certainty to act. You don't need perfection to move forward. Start today, take one small step, and watch your confidence, freedom, and peace grow. Life doesn't reward waiting, it rewards doing. Done is better than perfect. Starting is better than waiting. Taking imperfect action is always better than waiting for a perfect moment that may never come. If your mind tells you, I'm not ready yet, respond. I'm not here to be perfect. I'm here to be real. I'm here to grow. Let go of the pressure to do everything flawlessly. You are allowed to be messy. You are allowed to be learning. You are allowed to show up even when you're not 100% ready. Growth comes from doing, not from overthinking. One powerful way to fight overthinking is to speak your thoughts out loud. Thoughts in your head grow because no one else can hear them. They whisper, you're not good enough. They are judging you. You'll fail like before. But when you say these thoughts out loud, they lose power. They sound smaller, weaker, less real. For example, if you think, I'm a failure, I'm worthless, try saying it out loud. I believe I'm a failure. Then pause and ask yourself, is this really true? Is there proof, or is this just fear talking? By hearing your own thoughts, you step out of the emotional storm and into awareness. You start to see things clearly. Most thoughts in your head are exaggerated. You never notice this because you never listen to them with your ears. Speaking the thought exposes it. It forces you to face it. And it gives you the chance to replace it with a healthier thought. Here's a practical tip. Next time you catch yourself overthinking, say, let me speak this out loud. Then ask, is this thought helping me? Is this thought kind? Is this thought even true? If the answer is no, release it. Replace it with a better one. I'm learning. I'm growing. I've handled challenges before. I can handle this too. When your inner voice becomes kind and realistic, overthinking starts to fade. Overthinkers often trust their feelings too much. They feel nervous, scared, or anxious and assume these feelings reflect reality. But feelings are not facts. Just because you feel afraid doesn't mean danger is real. Just because you feel unworthy doesn't mean you are. Look at facts, not emotions. Test your thoughts against reality. Question them. And act anyway, even when fear is present. Remember, clarity comes from action, not endless thinking. Each small step you take moves you forward. Speak your fears, question them, and replace them with empowering thoughts. Take action, even imperfectly. Each action shrinks fear and grows confidence. Your growth depends on movement, not waiting. Your peace depends on doing, not overthinking. Speak your truth, take one step, repeat. Slowly, the storm inside your head will calm. You will start to feel lighter, stronger, and freer. Overthinking loses its grip the moment you act, speak, and move. You are allowed to be messy. You are allowed to start imperfectly. You are allowed to grow in real time. Your life does not wait for perfection, it waits for action. Overthinking often happens because you trust your emotions too much. You feel nervous, scared, or guilty, and your mind tells you something is wrong. But emotions are signals, not facts. They don't always tell the truth, they only tell you how you feel. For example, imagine a student finishes an English speaking test. He feels terrible. He thinks, I failed. I was so nervous. I messed up everything. But the reality is different. He answered 90% of the questions correctly. He used good words. He kept speaking even when he made mistakes. The facts show he did well, but his feelings tell him he failed. Which one should he trust? The facts. Emotions are important, but overthinking lets them run wild. They exaggerate problems and make you imagine disasters that don't exist. That's why you need to pause and ask, what do I actually know for sure? What is fact, not fear? Another example, you text someone and they don't reply for hours. You feel ignored or rejected. But maybe they were asleep, busy, or offline. Your fear isn't the truth, your mind is filling in stories. When you look at the evidence, overthinking loses its power. A simple question like, what are the facts, can save hours of anxiety. You also need to remember, asking for help is not weakness. It's human. Overthinking often happens alone. You sit quietly, smile in front of others, and say, I'm fine. Inside, your mind is a storm. You replay conversations, worry about mistakes, stress about the future, and question your worth. But you stay silent because you think no one will understand, or you don't want to bother anyone. This silence becomes a prison. You carry all the pain alone, but your shoulders were never meant to hold so much weight. You weren't meant to fight every storm by yourself. Asking for help is strength, not failure. Sharing your thoughts breaks the chain of overthinking. It gives your mind a chance to rest. Here's a simple rule. When fear or worry takes over, pause. Ask, what are the facts here? What do I really know? Then act based on reality, not emotion. Take small steps. Talk to someone you trust. Move your body. Write your thoughts down. Speak your fears out loud. Each step shrinks the storm inside your mind and brings clarity. Remember, emotions are signals, not commands. They alert you to what's happening inside, but they don't always reflect the truth. Facts do. And peace comes when you act on the facts, not the fear. You can survive mistakes. You can handle uncertainty. You don't have to do it alone. You only need to take one step at a time. Speak, move, ask for help, and the overthinking will slowly fade. Listen carefully. Asking for help does not make you weak. It makes you wise, brave, and human. Even the strongest people fall sometimes. Even the happiest people cry. Even the most successful people struggle. No one makes it alone. No one is meant to handle everything by themselves. Imagine you are walking through a forest. You are lost. There is no signal, no map, no direction. Then you see someone nearby. They know the way. They've walked this path before. Would you stay silent and suffer longer just to look strong? Of course not. You would ask, "Can you help me find the way?" Asking for help is the same. It is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is saying you care about your future more than your pride. It can be a friend, a teacher, a family member, a therapist, or even a stranger who listens without judgment. Speak. Reach out. Let someone hear the storm inside your mind. Sometimes, one conversation, one reply, or one moment of connection can stop a lifetime of suffering. Even if they don't have the answers, just speaking out makes the load lighter. You are not alone. You were never meant to fight every battle in silence. Help is out there, but you must take the first step. Say the words, "I'm struggling. I need support. I don't want to go through this alone anymore." You might be surprised how many people truly care. And even if no one responds, remember this. You are strong. You are important. You are not broken. You are just overwhelmed, and that is okay. Believe in your healing. Believe in your courage. Believe in your future. Take that step. Let yourself be seen. Let yourself be heard. Let yourself be helped. You matter. These are 15 real, human ways to stop overthinking. Not fake advice, not quick tips, but deep truths written for you, not for the crowd. Overthinking is normal. Fear is normal. Worry is normal. But the way to freedom is action. Move. Speak. Ask for help. Let go of perfection. Focus on facts, not feelings. Take small steps. Step by step, thought by thought, moment by moment, you regain your peace. Remember, thoughts can be challenged, emotions can be understood, fears can be faced, and the mind can be quieted. Your body, your actions, and your words are powerful tools. One small choice, one tiny action, can break the cycle of overthinking. Stand up. Move. Speak. Ask. Act. And in doing so, you take control of your life, your peace, and your future. You are not alone. You are human. And you are capable. By watching this video, something important has happened. You haven't just learned how to stop overthinking. You've done something much more valuable. You've started a journey back to yourself. You've remembered that your thoughts are not facts, that your fears are not the future, that your mind is not your enemy, and that your life doesn't belong to your past. Even more than that, you've taken another step toward becoming the strongest version of yourself. Here on Speak English Easily 24/7, you don't just learn English. You don't just study grammar or listen to sentences. You learn how to heal. You learn how to grow. You learn how to face your fears and move forward step by step, word by word, day by day. If this video touched you, if even one part helped you, if you felt seen, understood, or supported, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Comment. Let someone else know they are not alone. And subscribe, not for me, but for you. This is your space. This is your story. Your journey has just begun. Thank you for choosing growth over fear, presence over paralysis, and courage over hesitation. You don't have to live trapped in your thoughts anymore. You don't have to replay the past or worry about the future. Right now, in this moment, you are free. You are not your fears. You are not your doubts. You are not your overthinking. You are awareness. You are clarity. You are strength. Don't go back to life as it was. Step into life as it can be, with action, with courage, and with truth. This is not the end. This is your beginning.